Hello. Do you have a favorite pond, freshwater pond, or swimming hole that you live by?
A pond I really like is Ice House Pond in Falmouth. It's the very first pond that I did science on when I came to Woods Hole.
My favorite pond is Lewis Pond in Cotuit, but it's really close by my house, and my son and I can ride our bikes over there and go fishing.
A pond I really like is Grew's Pond, which is Goodwill Park. I used to be a camp counselor for years, and we would always take the kids there, and they love the water.
My favorite pond is actually the one behind me. No, I'm just kidding. Scargo Lake in Dennis. When I started with the Barnstable County Department of Health and Environment, I was a beach sampler, and I always just enjoyed the view from there and the clean water.
My favorite pond on Cape Cod is the Shumet Pond. It's beautiful, it's easily accessible to the public, but it's been impacted each year by more and more cyanobacteria.
I've definitely seen some blooms in the Shumet Pond.
I have seen, it seems to be more of the cyanobacteria blooms.
I think nitrogen has really gotten the bulk of the attention when it comes to wastewater. Phosphorus has been that more seemingly background issue. I don't think that's necessarily correctly so. Phosphorus is a lot more difficult to remove from wastewater or from the source water, so it just hasn't gotten the same amount of attention, and it's more difficult to remove.
Phosphorus from septic systems, from stormwater runoff, all of this contributes to a problem where nutrients enter a pond and nature wants to express itself, so it does in ways that we don't particularly like. Excessive weed growth, or the blue-green algae or cyanobacteria. What we're trying to do is to remove the phosphorus from septic systems before it gets into the pond. So a typical septic system just allows that phosphorus to pass through the system. Goes into your septic tank, goes into the leach field. Some gets taken up in your leach field, but once it hits the groundwater, it sort of moves along toward that pond that we love so much. The Barnstable County Health Department, under a grant, has received money to actually subsidize folks to put in systems that remove phosphorus so that we can try those technologies out to see if they work. These treatment units intercept that path and either precipitate out the phosphorus so we can possibly even reuse it in some instances, or it removes it from the waste stream before it gets to that pond that we love so much. So this project endeavors to take some of those technologies, subsidize their use in our areas so that we can see that they really work or how they really work, and then further move on at some point to introduce these to common practice around our ponds and in our lakes. For incentives, we've actually contacted some of the manufacturers of these units, and they've donated equipment as well as some subsidies. Our technical crew is able to go out and take the samples and interpret whether these systems are really working. So you can be a part of the solution here, since we're all kind of part of the problem.
It's important for us all to get involved in whatever way we can. This grant opportunity may not be for everyone, but for the right people, it's an amazing chance at a septic system that could potentially remove some of the phosphorus from our wastewater. And although wastewater is not the only source of phosphorus, it's one we want to explore, and one that if we're able to get more phosphorus out of wastewater, it could make a huge difference. A huge difference.
Well, the biggest reason to participate in this project is really to sort of kickstart the work that we're doing in the area of phosphorus. Nobody's really looking at this right now, and I think it's such a critical issue for our ponds that doesn't get a whole lot of attention. Beyond the blooms that seem to occur every year now, there doesn't seem to be a lot of action on it, so this is just one way that somebody can participate in their own little way.
Every activity I do every single day, I like to try to harmonize with the environment as much as possible and minimize my impact on the environment.
Now, we can't reverse development. We can't start shutting houses down, and people enjoy the water, but we have to be responsible for what we put in the water. because if we don't address it, we won't have these precious resources anymore to recreate in or even to enjoy just to look at.
On occasion, I do take the kids to the ponds. You know, they're just nice, calm bodies of water that you can, you know, sort of relax in a little bit more, I think, with kids than you can at an ocean beach.
I'm sure my son would be sad if the water quality was not healthy enough for swimming or fishing.
Our area ponds are really getting impacted.
If you are at all interested in joining us and being a part of our project, we have certainly a lot more detail and a lot more resources. We're more than happy to talk about this. We talk wastewater all the time, so please contact us and we'd be happy to give you more information on this project.